Hello and welcome to Theology on Tap. Just got back from watching Hacksaw Ridge, which is by far the best movie I've seen this year, maybe in a couple years, few years. What a wonderfully made film. So I want to start this video by saying welcome back, Mel Gibson. We missed you for about 10 years. It's about time you come back and entertain us with your gift. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of Mel Gibson in the near future. So hey, there's going to be some spoilers in this video, so please be warned. Hacksaw Ridge is about Desmond Doss, played by Andrew Garfield. He was a conscientious objector, but as he himself says in the movie, he considered himself a conscientious cooperator, which is a good way of looking at it. He's a man who has a lot of faith in God, and I love movies about, where a movie that portrays Christians in a positive light. In this movie, he's the hero. This is a true story. In fact, at the beginning of the movie, it says, not just based on a true story, it says, this is a true story. And as you watch the movie, you just kind of think, well, how can all these things have happened? So many miracles, and it's just amazing. Great, great movie. Now, there are great actors in this film. Teresa Palmer, the relationship between her and Andrew Garfield character, Desmond Doss, pretty believable. And I kind of like that too. I mean, I enjoy love story movies. I don't mind chick flicks either, But, I don't know if we live in a society today where marriage is kind of looked down upon, because I really don't think that is true either. But I like the fact that the love is displayed in a way that leads to marriage. I really like that because I know a lot of people look at marriage as losing your freedom. So in a sense, you're going into some kind of a bondage, life. But I never saw it that way. I always thought that I came to know myself more and got more liberty in life when I got married. And I always saw marriage as a liberation from life, So I kind of like it when a movie talks about or portrays relationship in such a positive way. Vince Vaughn was in this film. He plays a drill sergeant. I mean, we always see him as the comedian. But in this movie, to be honest, it took me a couple of minutes for me to get used to him being so serious. Having said that, he does have the funniest moments in the movie. So I think he was very well casted for this film. Hugo Weaving was incredible. I mean, next to Andrew Garfield, who really shows his acting skills, Hugo Weaving was very impressive. He did a great job. Because, I always see him as Agent Smith, no matter what movie. In this one, he took me away from that. That's how good he was in this film. Once again, the love of family is seen in this movie. And I think next to love between a man and his wife, love of the family is by far the most important in life. So I kind of like that. They didn't have a perfect family, obviously. I mean, seriously, who does? But it's good to see how marriage and family keeps people together. And it was very well done. And I appreciated that. The only actor in this film that I was not very impressed with is Sam Worthington's character. And the thing is, he does have a presence of him, about himself in films. So I think he can be a star. But he always kind of seems to play the same character all the time too. He's the same guy that was in Avatar, who is now fighting a battle in World War II. And the reason why I say he wasn't as impressive is because, well, let me say it this way. I could see why Mel Gibson could have picked this movie to make his comeback. Because, he went through some humiliating circumstances in his life, and I think he has learned his lesson. Now he's kind of asking all of us to forgive him for what he has done in the past by accepting him back into the movies, and that's what Sam Worthington's character does in this film. There was a scene where he looks at Desmond Doss and asks for his forgiveness. Will you please forgive me? Now, I wish that scene could have been more moving. I think that scene could have been one of the pivotal point in the movie. Where not many people like Desmond Doss, and now at the end, everybody started liking him because of what he believed in and what he did. So the scene could have been better, in my opinion, but Sam Worthington could have done a better job. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he was bad in the movie, but I think he just could have done better. The movie does tell us why he won't touch a gun, and part of it has to do with his faith, but also because of the experiences he had in his life. So he doesn't want to touch a gun. So he goes through some problems to be able to go fight for the United States. And the story that was told in about one hour and 20 minutes or so, it was very necessary, because we make connection with every character. And I really think Mel Gibson wanted us to connect with Desmond Doss, because he's not very well understood. Because a lot of people look Christianity as, mythical, something that we follow blindly and whatnot. But faith is faith. And if any kind of faith encourages us to be better in life, I think that's very good, isn't it? I mean, why would anyone not like that? So a faith in God that helps him to be a person that he is, a man of character, man who loves, man who wants to serve. And I think that's really wonderful. And you could really see that in the movie, and you make a connection with that character, And I think it was very well done. There are a lot of Christian movies that come out, and I don't like a lot of Christian movies because it's way too preachy, Believe in Jesus Christ, you pray, and things change. It wasn't like that. Because in reality, in real life, it's not that simple. He had to go through a lot of things in his life to be who he is and to be able to become what he became. You know what I'm saying? And faith has a lot to do with it. And it was shown in a way that wasn't preachy at all. It was just about him. And you get to understand that about Desmond Doss. And it's great. I like it. I just wish a lot of the Christian movies would do the same. Stop being so preachy. Just tell the story. Just tell the story. And I also like the fact that when he's building character, the story about the character, it is slow, but it's not slow in the sense it was boring. But there's no action in it or anything like that at all. But, let me say this, but when action begins, when the fighting begins, oh my God, I mean, it hits you in the face, where a lot of the people, including myself in the theater, I mean, we were making a lot of noises. It's like, oh my gosh, I mean, the brutality. Do you remember? I'm old enough to remember. Remember in the 70s when we first watched Deer Hunter, right? That was crazy brutal. I mean, if you were to look at it now, you go, wow. I mean, it's okay. We've seen it all. But that was the beginning of it. It's like, wow. And then we watched Platoon. And the violence in that movie was in your face. And since Platoon, everything was pretty much the same until Saving Private Ryan. And that was a game changer too. Remember? I remember gasping and just screaming in the theater going, oh my gosh, the war is hell. And that was almost 20 years ago. Since Saving Private Ryan till now, all the other, war movies been pretty much the same. And I have to say, until now. Okay, when it hits you, holy cow. I mean, I was squirming around on my chair. But I was squirming around thinking, wow, that was just a little too much. Too soon, because the whole hour and 20 minutes or so, it's nice story, love story, and then all of a sudden, boom, it hits you in the face. Wow, it was awesome. About 20 minutes or so of just nonstop awesomeness. And some people complain about the end of the movie. because there's 2 days of battle. The second day battle is done in slow motion. It doesn't really go into the graphic details about the fight. So I'm sure a lot of people said that it was kind of like a letdown. But you have to understand, the movie has a budget of only $40 million. And I'm sure about $20 million was spent for that 20-minute sequence of the battle. Maybe more than 20 million. Because I think they put a lot of money into that battle scene. And if they had a budget of $100 million, then maybe they could have had a second day battle that was just as graphic, if not more. But for $40 million movie, I guess you can't expect it to be too violent for too long. Saving Private Ryan, I think, has 70 million budget, and that was almost 20 years ago. So I forgive Mel Gibson for that. But the last thing Desmond Doss talks about is a scene, you could see it in the movie, about one of the guys that he saved. He was covered in mud that was just kind of caked on his face, so he thought he was blind until Desmond Doss got to him and poured some water on and wiped his face, and he was able to see. And what he said, I thought was wonderful. He said that when he saw the smile and the joy of the man who thought that he went blind, but he was able to see, he said that smile alone was worth the risk that he has taken. That was really cool, because I really think that was the moral of the movie, right? I was once blind, but I could see. Like that song, Amazing Grace. I was blind, but I could see. And you were able to see such a positive message that comes from this movie. I thought it was very fitting to current events. And I think that was a good message. And hopefully, a lot of people who are just blindly following another human being and getting all upset about whatnot, countries going against each other, rumors of wars and whatnot, I hope we'll all be able to just open our eyes and see that we just need to get along somehow. The message was awesome. The movie was great. Please go watch this movie. Like I said, the budget for this film is at $40 million. They're hoping to make somewhere between $12 to $15 million this weekend. That is pathetic. It's got IMDb score of 8.7. Rotten Tomato score is at 90. Jeremy Jahns gave it awesome-tacular. Chris Stuckman gave it an A. I'm going to say it's the best movie I've seen this year. If you want to be entertained, if you want to be wowed by the battle scenes, you want to be touched by a love story, you want to be encouraged by faith, and you want to be encouraged and see a positive story in such a darkened world, this movie is it. Right? It's got everything. I really loved it. I had huge expectations, so I was a little concerned, but I'm glad the movie delivered. So anyways, great job, Mel Gibson. Glad to have you back. Movie is awesome. Please go watch it. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe and tell your friends. I got a lot more to come. See you next time.